Alrighty, and welcome to the stream. We are going to do some shiny hunting today for some of the worst shinies to hunt in this game. All because
Nick hates me.
Well, to be fair, I had asked Mom, give me some Pokemon that you want to hunt. And what did they do? They did not do that.
I gave you Pokemon.
You gave me a Pokemon.
In my defense, you've given me like all the other shinies I could have ever wanted in this game, so...
So, we are shiny hunting Mousehold. 3 family Mousehold. And 3 segmented Dunsparce. And a few others. But I think we should still... Yeah, we still have my outbreaks. The outbreak of Vespiquen on my map looks pretty juicy. But I don't know if we're going to have time. Anywho. Mup, what do you want to do first?
Right. I mean, I'm gonna be in pain regardless, so like, whatever, I don't know.
Which pain do you wish to have the most?
Let's get the Mousehold out of the way.
Okay, well, I kind of figured with Mousehold, or at least Tandemouse and Dunsparce, we can kind of like do those like separately, sort of. So meet me at the 0 gate. We'll do a normal sparkling sandwich, and if you want, you can go into area 0 and look for Dunsparce, shiny Dunsparce, and then I can go to the Pokemon League and do Tandemouse, or vice versa, or whatever you want to do.
So you, okay, so we do our own, okay, so we're both shiny hunting in the same world, just we're gonna go to different areas.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know. Will it be okay if one of us goes to area 0 and the other one doesn't?
I don't see why not.
Well, we'll try it.
What's the worst that's gonna happen? The sky's gonna implode? Oh boy, that's a lot of Tauros.
I forgot to put them in my box. Make it a sandwich.
Make the sandwich. Okay, so the the sandwich that we could do with multiple ingredients is really awful. It's 3 tofu, and the tofu comes with 3 tofu, so it's actually 9 tofu.
Just make a big stack of tofu, except don't, because it just sounds like it would be horrible, but...
So we can try doing it that way, or...
I do have tofu, so...
Okay, let's try doing the awful tofu.
Okay, so 3 tofu?
Yep, so you do a pickle, a tofu, and anything but a sweet or sour herb.
Shit, that reminds me. I'm going to need to go herb hunting again soon. That's not going to be fun. Okay, tofu, pickle, and...
Anything but sweet and sour.
Okay. We go the spicy spicy then.
Okay, I will go bitter. Ready?
Yes.
Okay. There's gonna be a lot of fucking tofu.
So much tofu.
And the annoying thing is that the tofu like comes like pre-angled, and you can't rotate.
Oh no. They just look like Mr. Clean things.
Like, I want to find the tofu that's perfectly white like this.
Yeah, because aren't they I cannot grab this tofu. Okay, there we go. Aren't they a little like off, like yellow or something?
Yeah, they're kind of yellowish. I want to find...
Okay. It fell the right direction. Okay.
Oh, we lost the tofu. Okay, let's see if it changes.
It's still there on my screen.
Okay. Hopefully that doesn't change the sandwich. I don't think it should. I think we're good if we have at least just one.
Oh, why did...
Oh, and then it exploded on my screen. Okay. Well, this was an adventure sandwich.
I saw on your stream, it's just all the tofu just...
Bleh.
It's all there on my screen, so hopefully that'll mean it'll still count.
Maybe, because you're the one that initiated the sandwich?
It's all level 3 for me, so... Oh my gosh, it's just an absolute mess on your screen.
It is. Just terrible. Alright. Sparkling title and encounter. Okay. Cool.
So it's still all level 3 for you?
Yep. Okay, where do you want to go? Zero or Pokemon League?
Okay, so if I go 0, then you want me to look for Dunsparce, and that's just pink, right?
Yep.
Like yellow-pink.
Yep.
I call doing that instead of Tandem Mouse.
Jerk.
Okay, I'll do the Tandem Mouse then.
I'm already there.
Don't give me a choice
I'm not taking
if
your
you don't
take
want to
taxes.
follow that choice.
Also, I'm not even going to look for the shiny. I'm just going to murder a bunch of mice.
Yeah, that is honestly, I found that's the best way to find those kinds of shinies, is just, instead of like squinting super hard on your screen, let your Pokemon do the work for you.
And that is what I will do.
Are Giraffaric part normal?
Yeah.
Oh,
They're
okay.
psychic normal.
I just saw a bunch of them and I was like, I thought you were just a psychic.
Yep, you have to go into the big cave, the bottom cave, for Dunsparce.
Oh, okay. I will go there then. I just went to the very first station.
You fool.
I've never tried to look for Dunsparce in here, so.
To be fair, who does? But I saw a really gross strategy last night on my VGC stream. So Dunsparce gets an ability called Rattled, where if you're hit with anything bug, dark, or ghost damaging, it increases your speed by, is it 2 stages? I think, no. It's either 1 stage or 2 stage, one of the two. I have to look more into it. But it increases your speed. So what does this person do? They get a Mousehold that knows Beat Up, which is a dark type move that hits 4 times. And they use Beat Up on a Dunsparce that Terra'd into Psychic, had Rattled, so it got the speed boost, and also had a weakness policy that increases your attack and special attack by 2 stages, and then use stored power, which increases its damage by how many stat increases you've had. So that's 4 speed increases and 4 offense increases, 2 attack, 2 special attack. So that's 8 in one move.
It's like, it sounds like just another take on that Gallade Farafrig strategy that was also used against you.
Yeah, it's gross, and I want to do it. Just to be a shit ass.
I will say, I really like that there are people out there who are like, fuck the meta, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want.
Mm-hmm.
And and like they can find a way to make it work, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah,
Like I know it could be really frustrating to fight against, but at the same time I'm like, you know what, I respect that.
because when I saw the Dunsparce come out, I was just like, are we gonna see some like weird Serene Grace nonsense? I have no idea what this thing is gonna do. Nope, rattled with beat up, and I'm just like, it's justified Gallade all over again.
Oh no. What does Serene Grace do again?
Increases the chance of secondary effects.
Oh, right. That's
like
also really gross.
Yeah, so like if you have a move that causes flinching, it doubles that chance. So if it's like a 30% chance to flinch, it becomes a 60% chance to flinch.
I saw a video where, so I guess when Dunsparce got the evolution, the Dunsparce, they threw Dunsparce into like the baby, like I forget what it's called, but it's like all the baby evolutions. But they had to immediately ban Dunsparce because it was too strong. None of the other baby Pokemon could deal with it, so they're like, no, we gotta fucking ban this.
That sounds like a Smogon tier system. I don't know, like, I personally don't fuck with Smogon. I like their data, I like their information, I like their products, like Showdown and their damage calculator and their team builder and all of that. Like, those are brilliant. But what I don't like is like the dogmatic gospel that their tier systems and rules have. And like people will go into like formats like VGC and be like, oh no man, you can't put multiple Pokemon to sleep because of sleep clause. It's like, that's not a thing. That's just a thing in that community.
You can't enforce it on VGC.
Right, like they're two completely different things. And what I really don't like is like, it really would be no different than like my local mall, which does have a Pokemon community that does weekly meetings in the card shop in the mall. It would be like if their rules were like, if everybody talked about their rules like it was like a legit thing. Like it is, but only in your community. And it's nonsensical for you to like, I don't know. I don't know how to describe it, but basically what it boils down to is that like I'll go on YouTube and I'll look up like competitive guide videos or something on like certain Pokemon, certain builds, or whatever. And they will go heavily and lengthily into its application in a Smogon format, and nowhere is it written in like the description of the video, the title of the video, or anything that they're going over specifically Smogon rule sets or Smogon community guidelines or whatever, tier lists, whatever. It'll say nothing about that anywhere, and it's just implied that you should understand that, and it's just like, no.
Smogon isn't the only way to play competitive Pokemon.
Right. And it's just
like yeah, it makes sense. Like, at least have in your description, like we will also go over, like, in this video, we'll also go over how to properly apply in Smogon or whatever.
Yeah.
But, like, make it clear then.
Yeah. Like, don't waste my time. I wasted, like, 5 minutes into this video, and I just realized none of this is applicable because this whole build was designed for Smogon OU. Like, I don't give a flying fuck about Smogon OU.
Yeah, and I have a love-hate relationship with tier lists. Because I know Smogon really likes doing that as well, don't they?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well, basically everything that they do is...
Yeah, and I mean, like, I get it. Like, from the level of, like, okay, this Pokemon may be really easy to use because it's so versatile. You can use it for all these different kinds of strategies. And then, like, later on down the line, it's like, okay, like, these are more difficult because they're more for very specific situations. Like, I get that. What I hate is when a community, like you said, takes it as, like, the gospel truth. And, like, if you use anything that's not high tier, you're an idiot. And it's like, maybe just let us play Pokemon how we want to play?
Yeah, like, what really, like, cemented that I don't care for Smogon stuff and rules and tiers and whatever, was back in the day of Mega Evolution. Mega Kangaskhan was, like, everyone's worst nightmare, and they're like, oh, it's so broken, and foaming at the mouth, like, how devastatingly, like, unbalanced this thing was. I would go after that thing with, like, a fucking Aromatisse and Sableye and just, like, play with its fucking nutsack. Like, ha ha ha, yeah, totally broken. I'm having a 0% trouble killing this thing.
Yeah, it's just, for me, Pokemon is very much like, well, it's like a lot of other just strategy games. It's like, you're gonna find one that seems overpowered, but eventually someone is going to figure out a way around it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's dumb to be like, this Pokemon is way too overpowered. Just ban it completely. Like, I can guarantee you someone is already working on strats to counter it.
Yep. But yeah. I remember, and I have the video on Facebook because I sent it to a friend. And I have the video on Facebook. I had, it was a battle that I had way back when. And it was me with like no legendaries whatsoever against a guy that had Primal Groudon, Primal Kyogre, and Mega Rayquaza. He had all of them, and then whatever else, probably Mega Kangaskhan, I don't remember offhand. Like, he just had the most broken team of broken things and just broke it and just took it and brought it in. And I was just like, yeah, okay. And the whole video is just fine. Me just, like, toying with his shit. With, like, Aromatisse and Mega Sableye and... yeah, and I'm just like, I don't understand why people are so up in arms about this. Can they just not bring their, Charizards and not do well, and that's why they're all butthurt about it? Like, I don't get it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, there's one guy I like watching. He does all these like showdown videos, and his name's Temp6T. I don't know if you've probably heard of him, but he's my personal favorite to watch because he, at least from what I've seen of his videos, he really does not care for legendary spammers, and like so many times on his videos you'll see him go against like a team of like 6 Zaxian or Arceuses, and it's like, okay, dude. But he'll just like completely destroy it with like completely like non-standard Pokemon, and they always get so upset, and it's like, it's almost like he actually knows more about how Pokemon works than you do just because you followed a tier set.
And you're just like, oh man, top of the Ubers tier, I'm bringing that. Like, oh, okie doke.
Like, I have nothing against people who use legendaries in competitive. What I don't get is when it's like, or what I find annoying is when it's like, my whole team's just full of that.
Yeah.
Because some site determined that these were like amazing. And I don't need any kind of strategy. I just need these Pokemon. It's like, that just...
pretty much.
It's just dumb to me. And I always get upset, too, on those videos. It's like, what do you mean you beat my team? Or they'll always be like at the beginning, like, your team's so bad, lol. And it's like, if anything, you should be scared when you see weird shit on something like Showdown. Because that means they actually know what they're doing.
Because you're not going to know what's going to happen. I know exactly what's going to happen with you.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
And he'll even admit, like, some of the teams he makes, like, well, it's more based on the element of surprise, so this team probably wouldn't work again against the same person. But again, it's like, I have a lot more enjoyment watching him just try all this crazy shit and make it work than I would ever watching a legendary spammer.
Yeah. Last generation Sword and Shield was... I personally don't like bringing legendaries to VGC specifically, because I've always thought of legendaries as like trophies, not like like you don't. If you're gonna have a sword fight, you bring out the swords. You don't bring out like an 18th century claymore.
Yeah.
Like one of these things is not like the other. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So that's kind of how I feel about that. But the Treasures of Ruin, I feel, are somewhat balanced. I think their abilities are a little unbalanced, and kind of give them a bit of an advantage than they really need. But
well, it feels like without their abilities, they're kind of more pseudo-legendaries.
yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, sorry, continue.
I don't find the legendaries in this game to be like terribly like game-wise problematic. But the biggest thing last generation was fucking Zacian, and how ungodly broken that thing was. Like everybody, you either brought Zacian or you lost. Like that was the option you had. You could do VGC with Zacian, or you could do VGC and lose without it. Like there was no option to not bring it. And that, I was like, this is a really unhealthy meta. I really don't like this. And I honestly, it burned me out so bad that I just stopped playing Sword and Shield VGC for like 6 months.
I mean, that makes total sense. Like, I get super pissed off in games like, well, I think that was the main thing that really burned us out with games like League, is it was getting to that point where, like, if you don't play these specific characters that are probably just released, you're fucked. And it's like, that's not fun.
Right? And like every new character, every new champion seemed to have like, we've got a dash, we've got a bubble, we've got a lifesteal, we've got an avoid, we've got, a CC, we've got a CC get out free card. And
like we have a counter to everything in just one guy.
Yeah, and it's just like, do you have any vulnerabilities? And then Riot's just like, well, we wanted this champion to be a very well-rounded blah, 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 blah. And it's just like, no. If you wanted them to be well-rounded, then take their damage and make their damage average. Not stupid. Fucking
it's
Silas.
The same... Yeah. Well, Riot and Blizzard with Overwatch, they both, they started off so strong with, we're going to make all these different characters that are very specific in what they do best. But that's the point. It's Torbjorn or Symmetra, their powers would be more in their sentries or where Symmetra would put her teleport, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, again, that was really fucking cool. I loved that. And yes, there were times where I liked breaking it, seeing how I could push the characters in other ways, but that wasn't ever like, oh, they should just make them a fully rounded character who can do everything.
Right.
But somehow they got that impression and was like, oh, people don't play them enough, so we have to change it. And it's like, no. Go back to your original design philosophy. It was so much better.
But yeah, I just... I'm still salty about Silas. I'm still salty about fucking Doomfist. Do you remember when they reworked Hanzo and they're like, hey, we're getting rid of Scatter Arrow because shooting somebody in the toe for a one-shot is not fun? And the community was like, yeah, that's great. That we agree with that. That is not fun. It's stupid. Even though they could have changed it in that you can only get hit with one of the fragments of arrows, for the first bounce, and then after they bounce off another surface, you can get hit with it again, meaning that if you're in a small enclosed area, Hanzo still got the upper hand. But he can't.
Or they could even have it where or they could even have it where if you got hit with one arrow, if you got hit by the other arrows, you would take less damage. Or something like that. There were so many other ways to balance it out.
Other than, let's remove it and just make it a quick fire. Alright. But they said that, and then in the same breath, we're like, hey, Doomfist. We don't like one-shots, but hey, Doomfist.
The only good thing I like about it... Oh, sorry, good. Sorry.
Let's put a shield, a CC, a one-shot, and mobility all on one fairly tanky character who can also deal damage. Like, he's not like Reinhardt where he's limited to his, stupid damage at melee. Oh no, he can also shoot things.
That was one thing Overwatch 2 did right, was making him a tank. And because it's 5-man, there's now only one tank per team, so you would have Doomfist as your tank, but you wouldn't have any other tank then. You wouldn't have Reinhardt or Zarya or anyone else supporting him like you would have in Overwatch 1. So it feels a lot... He's still fucking stupid to fight against, but at least it feels not quite as bullshitty.
Yeah, and this was like back in the day too when Symmetra still had her Danger Noodle. And people complained all the time that you don't really need to aim with her, and it's just like, well, yeah, you don't really need to aim with her, but for her to actually do any appreciable damage, you have to stay attached to the person for a good while. Like, long enough for that person to fuck off.
Yeah, the whole point with that was that Symmetra is a glass cannon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, she can get shields, but again, like, it's just one person. And, like, you can just turn around and shoot her, but then fucking didn't realize, oh, people don't know how to turn around and change targets.
Yeah. There was enough counterplay to Symmetra back in the day. But anyway. But imagine if they made Symmetra Damage Noodle, which of course was basically an AoE. You didn't have to aim directly at the person to hit them. But if you had made Danger Noodle a fucking one-shot that also did crowd control, people would lose their fucking minds. But when it was on Doomfist, they were like, no, this is great.
This is fine. There's nothing to worry about here. And it's like, no, they should have at least made him a glass cannon. Like, he can do all of that, but he's very easy to kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if he misses, he's in a bad spot. Okay. But then you gave him more mobility where he can just uppercut nothing and then fuck off. So yeah, let's say he does miss and put himself in a bad spot. He can fix that.
It's like they tried to do Genji again, but with a different... like, with different people at the helm.
Yeah.
Because Genji can be really annoying, but usually only with players who actually know how to use him.
Mm-hmm. One thing that I didn't like about Genji was that his main form of mobility, his dash, could also do damage. I wasn't super thrilled with that, because then I was like, why don't you just give Tracer's dash, like, damage?
Mm-hmm.
At that point.
Or like or maybe make it where if she rewinds and you're there where she rewinds, maybe it does a little bit of damage or something. I don't know. It does feel stupid to like give one character with a dash the ability to hurt people with it, but then the other character with a dash can't do the same thing.
Right. Even though they fill the same role as like a flanking assassin. I don't know, man. I got a lot to bitch about Overwatch and League of Legends.
It's okay. I will say, though, at least with Pokemon, it's... I mean, I'm not going to say it's impossible, because I'm sure someone will find a way. But it feels a lot more difficult to come up with a Pokemon that can handle any kind of situation.
Right, and there really isn't.
And I think that's probably why... at least with Pokemon, like, I could see why, like, you and other people would, like, have an easier time coming back to it as opposed to, like, League or Overwatch. Mm-hmm. Because it's, like, you can build a team in so many different ways. You're not limited. You're not limited, but at the same time, it's also not, like, there's no one Pokemon that's, like, so stupidly overpowered where, like, nothing can beat it.
Zacian.
Except Zacian. But, like, from what I've seen on, like, Showdown, when they have, like, everything else... Zacian can be countered pretty easily, but it does suck that apparently in Sword and Shield it just didn't exist.
It can be countered and you can work around it, but you have to, like, you have to consolidate so much time and energy into just controlling Zacian, just what Zacian can do with no setup and nothing, just because of how it's built as a Pokemon, its ability, its moves. It doesn't even have to do anything. You have to like start counter setting for Zacian the second it comes out. And to me, that's what's broken. Mm-hmm. Whereas, like, say something like super duper powerful, like Mega Mewtwo. Mega Mewtwo Y has the highest special attack or any attack stat of any Pokemon, period. But you didn't have to, like, set up, like, a shit ton. You didn't have to, like, dedicate half your team to countering it, carrying moves specifically to counter it, or anything like that. You basically were like, oh, I'm worried about Mega Mewtwo Y. I'll just slap fucking Sucker Punch on one of my Pokemon, and there we go. I've got a counter. Mega Mewtwo Y is delicate as all shit.
It's like deny the, like, turn the high special attack against them / weak to it and whatnot.
Yeah, like, there are so many ways around that with so many different Pokemon. Whereas Zacian, basically your only counters to that were basically Incineroar with an Intimidate to drop its attack stat boost that it gets just for being alive, and then maybe Burn It, assuming it's not holding a Lumberry and it's not just, you know, setting up a fucking Swords Dance or whatever the hell else it's gonna do, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I can imagine how annoying it would be. Like, okay, so like you could have multiple Pokemon with Intimidate, or you could have one of your Pokemon with Clear Smog and whatnot, but like that's already a lot of resources dedicated to just Zacian. Zacian, however the fuck you pronounce that Pokemon.
and it was made even worse because it was Fairy Steel, which is really, honestly, the best defensive type combination, and honestly the best offensive type combination. The only other Fairy Steel types that we have are Klefki, which Klefki's attack stat is like 12.
Poor baby.
It does get Prankster and it's very annoying. But you know how you deal with Klefki? You fucking taunt it, and then you're just like, you can't do anything, you little shit. But yeah, Zacian could just run circles around everything, and it had a great move pool coverage. It had everything going for it. It had nothing going against it.
Was it weak to like fire? Was that its only weakness?
Fire, ground. That's its only weakness. Fire and ground.
So most of Steel's weaknesses except for
fighting.
Huh. And Steel's already pretty damn strong defensively, so damn.
It was just so unnecessary. And, like, as a Pokemon by itself, like, if you want to bring it to a battle, like, say, like, casual battles or whatever other format you want, fine. But for VGC, it was just a nightmare because it was like, bring it or lose. And I loved, for, like, a month in the middle of Sword and Shield's life cycle, they did kind of a weird VGC format where they were like, we are going to ban the like top 5 of every tier that plays VGC, like singles, doubles, everything. And they just banned like the top 5 of all of those formats. So like Incineroar, Dragapult, all of those banned. And like team building and team comps were just so creative and so much fun during that. Because it wasn't like everyone bringing fucking Whimsicott, Incineroar, Dragapult, Zacian, Regieleki, and actually I don't think Regieleki was out at that time, but you know what I mean? It wasn't like the same like 10 Pokemon in every single fucking battle.
Yeah, and I'm glad that with Scarlet and Violet, it so far, like there are times where you'll see like, at least from what I've seen from videos and your streams, there are definitely some Pokemon that are definitely, like, in the meta slash popular.
Mm-hmm.
But it's nice to see that not every team is like exactly the same over and over and over and over again.
Exactly. Like I see Murkrow a lot, but I would say by a lot I mean like maybe half the teams. Okay. Fluttermane, probably a little over half the teams. Is it on every single team? No.
I just realized, I wonder why. Okay, you know how with VGC, how it's like, you have like, you'll show like 6 Pokemon, but then you pick 4.
Mm-hmm.
And like, so you don't know what the other team is gonna pick and whatnot. I kind of wonder, like, has anyone ever thought of making kind of like a captain's draft mode in the sense where like, you can ban one of the Pokemon
On their team.
Yeah, so it's like you could ban one of my Pokemon, so like I can't bring it to battle, but then I can do the same thing to your team.
That would be.
So I was gonna say 2, but then that would really limit it. But then 1 is like that could actually be very interesting. Because if you saw like a rain team and then you see like, oh well, this Pokemon's usually the main setup, I could ban that, but then the other people would have to like come up with strategies to work around that.
Mm-hmm.
This is something I thought of.
Like a kind of somewhat popular strategy right now is Howl, and typically people will put Howl on Arcanine, but some people are putting it on Screen Tail. And yeah, you could see.
Oh, did my sandwich run out? Yeah, it did. I did not run to a single shiny. Damn.
Oh wow, your sandwich was like 2 minutes ahead of mine. Yeah, I didn't find a single shiny either yet. But people carry Howl, and Howl works kind of like coaching, where you increase your own attack and your partner's attack. So it's a good support move, but it's also a good like set move, so you can set yourself up and set your partner up too. Mm-hmm. And like, if you had like a captain's draft like that, like you could be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna ban the Howler, and then they have to go like onto a different strategy. Like it would force people to build less gimmicky teams and more teams that have better synergy, I think. So I think actually that would probably really, really healthy for the game.
Yeah, because it's like if you are able to set up multiple strategies with your team, I feel like that makes it an overall much stronger team. And it would all. It's like I don't mind gimmicky teams every now and then, but I would not like to see it constantly.
Right, like, and I tried to think last night too when I went up against that Rattled the Dunsparce. I was like, how could I have worked my way around that? And I thought, I was like, well, I could fake out in Trick Room, but if I don't take it out in one hit, then it's instantly just going to turn around and just bitch slap me real hard. I could go out for a dark type, but what if, because I don't know what held items that Tandemaus had, that Tandemaus, for all I know, could have Trick and Ring Target, which makes it removes immunities basically.
Mm-hmm.
So if you put a Ring Target onto an enemy Pokemon, it loses its immunities. It'll take normal damage from other immune moves, basically. So I don't know. That's what I would probably do. Is put Trick and a Ring Target on Tandemaus and just trick that onto an enemy, so I could use Stored Power on Dark types. All right. I think my sandwich is donezo. Yeah, it is. No shinies for me. Want to swap?
Sure.
Okay. Meet me back at the 0 gate.
Okay. One of these days I'm gonna release these shiny male combi out.
I'm sorry.
Literally just, I'm sorry. It's like that. I don't know why it makes me think of that one scene from South Park. It's like, we're sorry. Sorry.
Just all the male combies. I know what I've done. Forgive me, Father, for I have sinned. Okay. So, you do a pickle, a tofu, and an herb that is not sweet or sour.
Okay. Also, I'm so sorry, Insanity. I did not have my chat open. I'm terrible. Okay, so anything not sweet, not sour, or...
No sweet, no sour. Pickle, tofu.
Okay. Guess I'll use another species.
Okay. Let's try and not stack the tofu so tall this time. And hope that the sandwich doesn't explode.
Well, it's still counted.
Yeah.
Which I'm surprised about, but that's awesome.
Why? There we go.
It literally looks like someone made a 3D model of like a magic eraser.
Yeah, like the
and then
texture
just threw it in
and
the game.
everything just looks like a 3D a magic eraser.
Oh, come on. I'm playing a dangerous game of Jenga. But it's the you play it the opposite, where like who can stack the highest.
Oh, I was like, where did my pickle go?
Pickle. Go here. I don't even want to think about how the bread would go on top of that.
Can you imagine just like how wet this sandwich would be? With that much tofu?
Why did I just imagine like a waiter brings this out to you at a restaurant and you're like, what the fuck?
Like, enjoy your protein, sir. Like, thank you. Come up.
Yes.
You need to give me more of your... your art. So
I know, I need to draw more. I've been hitting such a bad art block.
Maybe.
It's like that thing where like no matter what I draw, it would look just like poop.
Maybe it's all the World of Warcraft you got coursing through your veins, destroying your brain cells.
It's very possible. Okay, so you went to the area right in front of the Elite Four?
Yep.
Or the Pokemon League? Okay.
And I just went up and down that hill and just murdered every mouse and Igglybuff I could. Alrighty. Let's go, you pink bastard.
I'm really hoping one just didn't spawn for me and it wasn't another one of those, oh yeah, there actually was, but you ran past it, idiot. And I'm like, no.
Yeah. One of my viewers is like, I feel the art block.
It's so dumb because it's either like, I have no ideas, like I really want to draw, but I have no ideas or anything. Or it's like, wow, everything I draw looks like shit. And it's supposed to be like I've read like, well, this is more likely like your eyes like have developed in terms of like, you know, now you know better on like
What
like
things
you've
should look
developed
like.
your visual library, but your hands need to catch up. And I'm like, well, how do I get my hands to catch up if I'm just getting pissed off at everything I'm drawing?
Maybe have your hands tell your eyes that they're bullies and stupid. Yeah, about the most creative thing I do is designing the thumbnails for my streams. That's about it.
I really love the little like the little Pokemon you throw in the corners or like in the background. Just like, what's that?
Wait. I every time I do that, I just imagine them making like disgruntled noises like far off in the background. I did find a new thumbnail maker, so that's why there is like a very sudden jump in thumbnail quality. And the new one I like a lot better. A lot better.
I should check that out. I've been like really wanting to like make thumbnails, but of course my brain's like, but you could draw the thumbnails. But then later on it's like, but that requires work.
Yeah, I would not want to draw the thumbnails. Even if I had drawing capability, I would be like, no. I want to do this like point click brag.
Are you shiny?
Did you find one
no,
already?
You're not. I threw out my Iron Valiant, and it just, for whatever reason, just immediately went back in the Pokeball. So I thought, oh, is this a shiny Igglybuff? No.
No.
Iron Valiant was just like, no, I don't feel like it.
I mean, to be fair, you are using him to kill the younglings.
It turned him into Anakin.
No.
Anakin, no. Oh, I remember one time I was watching that scene with my uncle and cousin. And, you know, it's like a sad, serious scene, especially afterwards. And my uncle just lets out the biggest burp known to man in the movie theater. And it's like, well, there goes the tension. Thanks, uncle.
Do you remember, I know you don't like horror movies, but do you remember the movie House of Wax?
I have definitely heard of it. I don't think I've ever watched it, but I have definitely heard of it.
It was kind of famous back in like the early 2000s because it had Paris Hilton in it. And it was like one of her first like actual like acting jobs, not like, you know, her playing like the what was that stupid TV show that she was on, and she played the character of like the dumb socialite, you know, rich girl.
Paris Hilton. What show was that?
The Simple Life, that was it.
Okay.
Where she was just the dumb rich girl and was just like, I'm a dumb rich slut, and that was like the entire premise of her character.
And then you put her in a movie. It's like, wait.
Yeah, and then
she can do other things.
Went into a movie, and then everybody was like, wait, she can do other things? I mean, she still played the dumb rich slut in the movie, but at the time, people really didn't really have a grasp that she was playing a character and that wasn't just her personality, because it was supposed to be reality TV, and you were supposed to buy into that Paris Hilton is really this dumb bimbo.
Like, she's not actually like this, she's just playing a character that's like this.
And it's really unclear that, you know, she's playing a character. But anyway, so when she was in House of Wax, I went to go see that with friends in the theater when I lived on base in Japan, and it was a pretty packed theater. It was opening night for that movie, and it was a pretty packed theater. And spoilers, I don't really care. It's like a 15-year-old movie. She dies in the movie, and her death is like not subtle at all. Like, it's very in your face, like
very graphic and
very graphic, very gory. And oh my god, when she died, like, everybody in the theater cheered, and it's just like, wow.
What? That's so mean.
Everybody fucking hates Paris Hilton.
Aww. Oh,
yeah.
That reminds. Have you seen the movie Burn After Reading?
No.
What was that fucking guy's name? Wow, this is gonna really bug me. I was gonna tell you about it because it was like kind of the opposite reaction, but it was kind of similar where like but I cannot remember the actor's name. This is gonna bug me. I'm gonna look it up really quick.
That ADHD moment where you're like, who is that actor in that one thing that I saw that one time?
Okay. So the character was Brad Pitt, and he was just playing this like, okay, not the character. The actor was Brad Pitt, and the character he was playing was just like this stupid but like means well kind of character, but really like just gets himself into trouble more than not.
Mm-hmm.
And for whatever reason, I don't fully remember the plot of the story, he's sent to like spy on George Clooney's character. And so like George Clooney comes back home. And he's there. So he just hides in the closet. And in the scene, so you see like, you see George Clooney and you also see Brad Pitt, and you're like, what's gonna happen? And you think like, oh, like there's gonna be a fight or whatever. And sure enough, George Clooney's character finds him. He just straight up shoots Brad Pitt's character in the head.
Oh my god.
Like, it's so instant. And it's the exact same thing. Like, it's very graphic. It's in your face. And it was so out of nowhere that everyone in the audience was like, and I'm like, did they just kill Brad Pitt? Because like even the character like were surprised as well. It felt so out of nowhere, and I just remember the audience freaking out because they're like, "What just happened?"
Kind of like when people first watched Game of Thrones and they were like, "Oh, okay, this is totally a show about Ned Stark and his wily adventures in this fantasy land." And then, like, 2 episodes in, he gets his head taken off, and everyone was like, what the fuck? Does nobody have plot armor in this show? No.
Nope.
Well, Arya, a couple people have plot armor. Arya being one of them. Sam being another. Jon Snow technically, but, I mean, he did die, but he got better.
Oh, like he'll get better. Just give him just don't worry about it. He's fine.
Give it some time. He'll get better.
Oh, that actually reminded me a lot of how like watching Attack on Titan felt like. It's very similar. It's like you go through all these characters and you're like, oh wow, like, and you're pretty sure like they're gonna have plot armor. No, they all fucking die. And I mean, the main character came back. He got better. But it was still just like a, what the fuck? They literally just killed everyone in front of us. That they took they spent a whole episode on, like, introducing us to. What the fuck?
They spent so much time investing us in these characters, and then this character is now just a red smear on a wall.
It's just like, damn, what the fuck?
I didn't really... Okay, well, I didn't get into Attack on Titan. I thought it was interesting, and I kind of followed it for, like, a good amount of episodes into the show. And then, like, it just felt like it was going goddamn nowhere. And I was just like, I'm out. Like, nothing is being explained. It's just, this shit happens because it happens. Accept it, or just whatever.
Yeah, I watched... Is that shiny? No, never mind. Iron Valiant was like, I'm not gonna fight you. Turns around, just kidding.
I'll fight you now.
Yeah, I watched all of season 1 of Attack on Titan, and I was interested in it, and then I just completely forgot to get into season 2. And then before I knew it, a whole bunch of other shit happened, and then the plot's just going batshit crazy, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I'm just gonna leave that.
Yeah.
Like, y'all enjoy it, but I'm gonna invest my mental energy into something else.
Yeah, I felt a lot of the same way.
And in terms of horror movies, there's some horror movies I do really enjoy. I think for me, it's just like I remember I told you like my mom really doesn't like stuff that gets into like really supernatural stuff like spirits, demons, that kind of thing.
Mm.
I'm a lot more uh it doesn't bother me nearly as much, but there are still some where I just like I really don't want to watch it. Like The Exorcist, I don't think I'm ever going to watch that cuz that's like way too far for me.
I was always told the same thing because my mom grew up very, very Catholic. Like, to the point where my mom, when she was a kid, could not go see The Dark Crystal as a child. The Dark fucking Crystal.
That was a good movie though, and yeah, not a horror movie in any way if I recall.
My grandmother was like, nope, can't see it, don't watch it. But like The Exorcist, my mom was like, oh, it's the scariest movie ever. It's just horrifying. It'll give you nightmares. And I think I saw it on like fucking like TBS TV, like cable TV, daytime TV one day, and I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever fucking seen.
I think it may have been one of those where like not knowing what was going to happen was scary for them, but then they did the thing where they hyped it up way too much. And so then when you do watch it, you're like mentally preparing yourself like, oh, it's going to be terrifying, and like, wait, no, this is dumb.
Yeah, I mean, it was more than that. It was more that I expected everything that happened to happen. And I can't really tell you, like, it's because I got it because of cultural references or whatever the case may have been. But nothing in that show was shocking. The only thing that was, like, mildly, like, kind of gross is that when they did the whole, like, pea soup vomit thing, it got into the other actors' mouths. And I was just like, icky.
And it's like, even though you know that's not real vomit, it's still just like, ugh.
Yeah, you're still just like, I don't like that.
I know there was one time I was a kid, and I think it was near Halloween, because it was that time where, like, everyone was showing horror movies, like, even on, like, the kids' channels, and they were showing the movie Poltergeist. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I was like, the main thing that I was afraid of was tornadoes, because I knew those were real. And my dad, for whatever fucking reason, he kept replaying that shitty Twister movie over and over again.
Oh my god.
And like, I look back at it now and I'm like, that's fucking dumb. Like, I can't believe this ever scared me. But when you're a kid, you see the devastation and destruction, and knowing that that can happen in real life was like, ugh. And then, of course, the one scene from Poltergeist that I see out of context is when, I don't even remember, I think there was a tornado. There was some kind of storm happening when it was like a really big haunting night. I think when they took the little girl. And it was just, shit was flying around the room. And I don't remember exactly what happened, but it scared the ever-loving shit out of me and gave me nightmares. And like, I look back on it now and I'm like, this movie really doesn't look that scary. Why the hell?
The only two horror movies that I remember that like genuinely like made me jump and like was completely out of expectations and just made me like really uncomfortable and kind of set me on edge for a little while was The Grudge. When that first came out, that was really unsettling. And oh god, what was that movie? It wasn't A Haunting. It was and I can just
The Ring?
No, it was kind of newer. It was one where one of the promotional previews was basically a woman sitting at a table, and behind her, like, silently moves this demon's face.
Oh, was it, I almost said Inception, but that's not it. It's, I feel like I know exactly what you're talking about, but I can't think of the movie name.
But
Conjuring?
The Conjuring.
Or the
yeah, I think that's it. Maybe it's not The Conjuring. I don't know. But you
well,
know what I'm talking
it was yeah, because I think like one of the scary scenes was like they did the same thing but in the movie, where like very silently you just see like that demon's face behind the person.
Right, and
And
to
it's
me,
like,
that's
yeah.
scarier because, like, in real life, if you see something scary, you're not going to have, like, a violin shriek in the background. That's not going to happen that way. If you see something terrifying in real life, the only thing you can fucking hear is the blood rushing in your ears.
Yeah, like when I get genuinely scared, I don't scream. I go very quiet, but I'm like moving the fuck away. Like I don't want any part of this situation. So yeah, I could see how that kind of stuff would be scarier because the reactions are a lot more realistic.
But yeah,
It's also why I don't care for jump scares, because it's like it feels like such a cheap way to get.
Yeah, it's
scare out of
basically the
people.
comedy version of tickling somebody for a laugh.
It's like, of course they're going to scream because you're surprising the shit out of them.
Right, like this is how humans react to things that are sudden and loud. Like babies react this way to things that are sudden and loud.
I think the last movie I could think of that genuinely like where there was a long period where I was like genuinely freaked out was when I was watching Nope. Like, I'm not gonna say it's the scariest horror movie ever, but the way that it was done was so incredible. It's like, because there's this. Have you seen it?
I
Or do you
haven't.
plan on seeing it?
I do kind of want to see it.
Okay, so I won't spoil you. But there's one part where it's just. It's both disgusting and scary, and it legitimately made me like so uncomfortable. Like that bothered me more than any other horror movie I've seen. But it was like this is what I want from a horror movie, you know? Like it felt like that was exactly what they were trying to go for, and I was like, yes, I love.
What was his first movie? I think it was Get
Get Out.
Okay, yeah.
That's also another really good movie.
Yeah, I saw that and I thought that was really, really good. And then the second one was what? The Others or Us? Us. I
did not see that yet, but
I did not care for Us. I thought it was like I didn't get it. I don't know what the message was there other than like spooky supernatural shit happened. And I'm just like, what was anybody supposed to learn about this?
Yeah, my mom watched it. She felt the same way. She did not care for it, but she kept seeing other people like praising it, so she's like, maybe I need to watch this movie again.
Yeah.
And I know that's a movie that she wants to watch with me, because there are times where I'm like, or she's just like, am I stupid? Like, am I missing something, or is it genuinely this bad?
like Get Out had a lot of like social commentary, a lot of nuance, a lot of things that would spark discussion for like friends and families, and just like it had a lot going for it. Its energy was really good, even for a horror movie. It was a complete package for a movie. Whereas Us was just like, okay, so we've got the main plot here. Okay, cool. Main plot is advancing. Okay, cool. We've got maybe a subplot brewing. No. Okay, that was just an inconsequential detail that nobody cares about anymore. Okay. Okay, well, maybe this is the sub. No, that's not the subplot either. That went nowhere. Okay, maybe the ending will tie everything together, and the other like weird side plots that we've talked about will come back and be significant. Nope, the movie just ended, and none of it was significant in any way. And I'm just like, what was the point of this fucking movie?
There was, so when they brought back the Twilight Zone, he was the main guy, Jordan Peele. And a lot of his episodes, a lot of them were really good, but there were also some that just didn't quite hit. And I feel like every director is going to have hits and misses. I cannot think of a director where like there wasn't a movie that didn't feel just really low quality compared to their other work. Like, it happens. It's like I have yet to see Us, but at the same time, it's like considering just how good Get Out was, and that was his very first movie, and like he's normally a comedian, but he went into like horror. Like, that was amazing. And then Nope was also fantastic. Like, I think you'll really enjoy Nope.
It did look interesting, and I do want to see it.
But yeah, so like there are parts in that of Nope that genuinely scared me and freaked me out. And like there was one jump scare, but it was like it was I don't know. It was like it was forgivable is all I'll say. Cuz it was clear it wasn't like meant to be the main form of scaring people or freaking them out. But yeah. I honestly, like, it's amazing the kind of stuff he can pull off, and considering he's still pretty new to that area of writing.
So. I think it also helps to be good at comedy. You also have to be fairly intelligent. And I do think that he and the other guy that he does work with for comedy.
It's an Indian guy, right?
Is he Indian?
I thought he was. Because there was one... Jordan Peele and that guy did an Epic Rap Battles of History where Jordan Peele played Martin Luther King and the other guy played Gandhi. That's how I mainly know them, but I don't remember his name. But anyway, let's just say, like, I'm pretty sure I know exactly who you're talking about. Anyway.
Yeah. I typically like their material. Sometimes it just, like, they take a point and, like, drive it into the fucking ground. But I generally like their comedy. Like, it's funny. And I think to be good at comedy, you have to be a reasonable amount of intelligent, which is why, like, Roseanne Barr, not fucking funny. Or Jerry Seinfeld, not fucking funny, because they are not smart people.
But then you have someone like Robin Williams, where he can do...
Fucking brilliant.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. And there is this channel that I really like watching. It's called Cinema Therapy, and it's this guy who... It's these two guys, so like they're reacting to a movie, but it's not like just watch the whole movie and then their reactions like on the bottom right corner. But it's like you have a guy who directs movies for a living, like he's a director, a movie maker, and then he has a friend who's a therapist. And they'll react to movies like, you know, like, does this make sense from like a psychological standpoint and whatnot? And one of the guys, like the movie maker guy, he's like, I don't care what anyone says, comedy is the most difficult thing to do properly. And because he has explained, like, you can have anyone like write a joke, but to actually make it funny, you have to know what you're doing.
Yep.
And like it's true, because like you said, like there's like Jerry Seinfeld and all that, really not funny. Like the writing material, like the joke itself might be funny on paper, but just when they do it, it's like no. But then Robin Williams, it's like he knew how to do it like physically, emotionally, and like he knew exactly how to get people to like laugh when he wanted them to laugh.
He was.
And it's, yeah.
I miss that guy.
Yeah. I remember in drama, like that I took in junior high, they kept saying, comedy's the easiest. And like thinking back, and I'm like, no, anyone can make a movie that they claim to be serious and is deep, and someone's going to think it's also really deep and thought-provoking.
I mean, what was it? One of the biggest art exhibits in the last, like, 10 years was literally a piece of duct tape on a banana on a wall.
Yeah, it's like okay.
There, I don't know how to describe it. I don't have the vocabulary for it. There is, like, expressionist art, like, say Van Gogh's Starry Night. Like, cool, great painting. I guess it's okay from an objective, like, I like these colors, I like this motion, I like this movement, I like the feelings that this elicits for me. Like, that kind of art, cool, fine, grand, dandy. But there's like this like hostile like form of art that's borderline anti-intellectual, where it's just like, I'm gonna tape a fucking banana to a wall and call it expressionist art. Like, the only thing you're expressing is your disdain for anything like truly expressive. You literally just took a banana and decked it to the wall.
If it makes you feel any better, even like as an artist, I can't stand that shit. Like, there's also a lot of abstract art that I just do not understand.
And see,
like, I'm not saying I don't want to say it's bad art, but I look at it and it's like anyone could have done it, but somehow, like, oh, this is amazing, this is a masterpiece. It's like,
why?
Well, what exactly did they do different?
Yeah. It's amazing, it's a masterpiece. Okay, but why?
And then when they try to explain it, it's like, that feels like you all just made it up on the spot to try to not look like an idiot.
Yeah, like, why is, the Mona Lisa, fantastic, but also this, Picasso of, like, well, not a melted clock, but this Dali of just like a melted clock. Like, why are these like both fucking fantastic? Like, these are two completely different things. I don't get it. And I get that art is completely subjective, but at the same time, I'm just like, you gotta have some sort of like litmus for what is good and what is not, but whatever.
Yeah, and I think that's also why I personally am not a fan of abstract art. Because it's like, I'm not saying that abstract artists are bad or that they don't deserve any money. I look at it and I go, like, how does someone look at these two different things that look like messes to me and be like, this one's a genius, this one's a mess?
Right. And then
because I don't get it.
There's other things, like even like commercialized art, that people are like, as soon as it's commercialized, it can no longer be good. But even though that really doesn't change anything about the actual artwork itself, like, case in point is Pokemon. The original Sugimori watercolor artwork from like the early 2000s, late 90s, beautiful pieces of work. Fucking beautiful. But then, like, why don't we like look at like, a watercolor of Ho-Oh like we do, any other piece of art? Like, why is Ho-Oh not in a gallery? Even though it probably has a lot more meaning to a lot more people than, say, a fucking vase with flowers in it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like, even though I'm an artist and, like, I did study, like, a bit of art history and whatnot, there are still a lot of things where I'm like, I just don't understand it.
Yeah. All right.
So you're not alone in that aspect. Like, I'm like, yeah, it's just, there's a lot of art I love, but there's also a lot of art that I do not understand, but whatever, you do you.
Yep. I don't know. It's to me, when you get to that point of like aggressive hostility with your art, like duct taping a fucking banana to a wall, that you're just like, fuck you, art is whatever I want it to be, which, sure, yeah, go, fine, be happy. Art is whatever you want it to be. But like, why is you taping a banana to a wall seen as like amazing and like groundbreaking, when this chick over here did an oil painting that took her 6 months and nobody's saying shit about it?
Yeah, it's like, I'm not saying abstract art doesn't have its place, but it does baffle me when it's like, it's exactly like that kind of thing. It's like, she spent so much time and effort on that, but she's not praised for it. But then this fucking banana or whatever, like, that's genius. Like, please explain your logic to me.
Yeah.
And I think there's some people who are like, oh, well, anyone can do the oil painting. And like, no, not everyone can do the oil painting.
Literally anybody can go get that duct tape and put a banana to a wall.
Anyway, yeah, this is how it turned out. Sorry, we got so deep in the conversation.
So deep. I am going to take a bit of a break. I will be right back.
Okay.
Alrighty, I am back and a little damp.
Why are you damp?
It has been raining all evening here, and I went out for a quick smoke and got a little moist.
You're not the one with the name Moist. That's Jess.
I've been trying to quit, and that was like my fourth or fifth cigarette of the day, and I smoked it really fast because I wanted to be out of the rain, and made me a little nauseous.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
Which doesn't help because I ate a crap ton. I made shrimp and scallop curry for dinner, and I ate like 4 bowls of it.
That is a lot of food.
A lot of potato, a lot of rice.
Which I'm like, oh, give me. Just fill me up with carbs. Nothing but carbs. I would love that.
Alright. So, next on the list, because I kind of want to skip over Mousehold and Dunsparce for now.
Dunsparce.
Dunsparce. Next on the list is Teddiursa and Smoliv. Do you have...
Teddiursa will be really easy to spot because it's lime green, like its evolution, like Ursaring, right?
Yeah. The downside is I don't remember where Teddiursa and Ursaring spawn really well, so I have to look it up.
Yeah, I know there have been areas where Ursaring have spawned, like when I was playing the game, but I don't fully remember where.
Habitat? Looks like the northern part of the tag tree thicket and up and around the southeastern bit where Tauros and them spawn. Does Ursaring have a better spawn area? Oh, kinda. Who do you want to do first, Smoliv or Ursaring and Teddiursa? Or Smoliv or Ursaring?
What does shiny Smoliv look like?
The exact same, except for the olive on its head is black instead of green.
Okay, but that's actually kind of cute when you describe it like that.
It is. I think it's a good shiny, even though it's one of those shinies that a lot of people don't like, where it's just a minor change, but it's instead of a green olive, it's a black olive. Like, that's genius. Shut up.
Yeah, I am willing to accept that kind of shiny, even though not much changes, because it's like the Pokemon itself is a reference to olives. Why not add black olives to it? That's amazing.
Alright, where are we meeting?
Wherever you want to meet. I'm still by the Pokemon League, so.
Okay, I'll fly there. And they're both normal. Smoliv is normal grass, and Ursaring, of course, is normal.
Okay. More tofu.
More tofu. There they go. Okay.
You can't say. Oh,
I wish it would demount you when you want to put down a picnic. Like, why?
I know. I keep expecting it to, and it never does. It's like, why are you getting mad at me? Why don't you just take me off the ride on then?
Let's go do Smoliv.
Okay.
So you do a pickle, a tofu, and probably a spicy.
My last spicy. Let's go. And then I gotta go farming for herbs later. Let's see. Let's use this one. I feel like I just got all the really dumb novelty sandwich picks.
Oh, there we go. Like, why am I not grabbing
Oh,
it?
I need to move this. I need to move this where I'm putting my tofu because I just realized how close that is to the edge. Oh, it almost would be even.
Almost, but not quite.
Perfect.
Our very wet, protein-heavy sandwich.
Tofu is one I tried really hard to get into and to like, but I don't care for it.
My tofu is floating.
No. It is on your screen. What the fuck? It's like it's
Flying tofu.
Don't think about it too hard. It's fine.
Like, I don't mind tofu, but it's one of those things that it has to be in something that's already good.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I like it in stir fry and like fried rice, like that's fine. But like, if it's just like by itself with just like sauce, not for me.
Okay, where are we going for the small live? Is it the same place with the combis?
Yep. But like one of my favorite things to make is you make kind of a soy sauce with a little bit of like rice wine vinegar and sugar, and basically make it into like a kind of like a barbecue sauce because it's kind of got that sweetness to it. And then you just fry the shit out of the tofu, basically burning the sugar, like almost burning the sugar in the sauce. And I really like that.
That sounds like it would be really tasty.
But then again, you cover anything with soy sauce and sugar, it's going to be good.
I know another thing I unfortunately found out is, so I'm like 99% sure I have insulin resistance, which is often called pre-diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, should not be having stuff like soy and other stuff like that too much, and it makes me a little sad to hear that. Well, it makes me sad, but then it's also like, but I don't even like tofu, but then I love soy sauce. It's like, damn it.
One thing that's kind of weird about soy sauce that a lot of people don't realize is that soy sauce is not gluten-free. It's made with wheat.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny to me, people that are like, I'm gluten-free, but I fucking love sushi. It's just like,
oh, so what do you have in place of soy sauce? I'm like, what do you mean?
yeah. Like, I'm not knocking, like, people may be sensitive to gluten and not have celiacs. Like, maybe that's a thing, I guess.
Mm.
But, like, people that are like, I eat only gluten-free because it's healthier, it's like, shut the fuck up. It's
yeah,
not.
like, my friend, Pale, like, do you remember her?
Vaguely.
Yeah, so anyway, I've known her for many years before coming into this friend group playing TF2. She is allergic to gluten. Like, it's not, what is that one particular disease called? I don't know, but anyway,
Celiacs.
But yeah, so she told me, like, she's allergic to gluten and she has a very difficult time finding stuff that's actually, like, enjoyable to eat that doesn't have gluten in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I not only do I feel that, but it also makes me more pissed off when I hear people being like, oh, well, I go gluten-free because it's healthier. Because then I think about people like her or other people who, like, literally cannot have any form of gluten or they get sick. And it's like it's just, I get pissed off.
Yeah, it's like, they're not cutting out gluten for their health, Rebecca. They're cutting out gluten because it'll fucking kill them.
Yeah, and it's like, maybe don't turn that into a fad or a trend, because that just makes you look like an asshole.
But on the same side of that token, I had a friend when I played ESO. She was she actually stopped by in chat one day. Her name's Ellie, and she has celiac, so she can't handle gluten, like, at all.
Right,
And
celiac was the word I was looking for, but yeah.
I asked her, I was like, well, how do you feel about like all of these like, fucking crunchy granola moms that are like, gluten will like blow your dick off kind of like trend setters. And she was like, I think it's amazing because without all of these dumbass people, I would not have as many options.
Yeah, that is a very fair. That is a very good argument, actually. Looking at it, I
And
think
I
what
was like,
just pissed me off is when it's like, oh, you're so healthy. It's like, no, I literally can't eat it.
yeah. And at the same time, I also got to remember that when I kind of get insulted for someone else, it comes off as very white knighty.
Yeah, yeah. No, that makes absolute sense.
Because then I miss things like, Ellie being like, oh, I don't care what the hell these crunchy granola moms are, fucking doing in their spare time. But because they're creating a demand for these products, they are making these products available for me. So let them be like crunchy granola moms and do whatever the fuck they want to do. As long as I can get my gluten-free waffles, I'm fine.
Yeah, okay. I'll admit I did not see that side at all, and yeah, that's actually a really good way of looking at it. But yeah, it's in general. I just don't care for those trends where it's like all or nothing. Like I have to cut out this entirely from my diet and blah 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 blah. And it's like,
Yeah.
unless you need to for medical reasons, that's just dumb.
Yeah, like it's a fine line between like trivializing an actual problem and like contributing to that problems. So and I don't think those crunchy granola moms are really contributing to any kind of pain or suffering of celiacs sufferers or gluten sensitive people or anything like that. But I do kind of feel like on some level they do kind of trivialize it.
Yeah.
Because anytime someone says, what are your gluten-free options? Like, the general consensus is going to be like, oh my god, you're one of those crunchy moms. Like, no, I just can't live.
It's like I literally cannot eat this, actually. And it's like, oh shit.
But it's kind of like the same thing like with people with like caffeine sensitivities or like heart problems or whatever. I saw this was like a long time ago. This was like a year or two ago on TikTok of like people who would go to like Starbucks and like order decaf coffee. And the barista would be like, "You're rude, and I don't like you." And then I gave this bitch her caffeinated coffee, and the comments were just on fire. Like, you are going to kill someone.
Yeah, no. If
they ask for decaf, it's probably for a fucking reason.
Yeah, no. It's just.
But
it's like the fine line of like you don't want to be a white knight, but at the same time they are definitely trivializing it to an extent.
Yeah,
and it's just like,
and it's funny to me that we trivialize like the gluten thing, but we don't trivialize like the decaf thing when it's been shown that caffeine does in excess does harm the body, and like if people occasionally drank decaf, they'd probably be a lot better off in some aspects. And yet we don't do the same thing with that. We don't like oh, you need decaf, what are you, weak?
Yeah, it's the things that some people will take up to that level just baffle me. Like, I mean, I've definitely heard like decaf jokes that are funny, like oh, decaf coffee is just disappointment water. Like, that still makes me laugh. But at the same time, if someone legitimately orders decaf, don't make fun of them and don't give them the wrong order. Like, that's just a real dick move.
To me, that's also funny because I fucking hate coffee. I think it's just disappointment juice all around, regardless of its caffeine content. Like, this is just dirty, bitter bean water. Like, that's the quick and fast of it. But
I will
like,
say I've been having actually no, never mind. I'm not going to go down that path because we're already having one conversation. Sorry, you were saying.
but like, yeah, you don't see anybody like, oh, I've already had like 2 cups of coffee today. I better have just decaf. Like, nobody is drinking coffee to enjoy the flavor and aroma of it. Like, we're drinking coffee. Like, people and humans are drinking coffee to basically get high off the caffeine. That's legitimately the only reason. Nobody is just like, oh man, I love the taste of coffee. I'm gonna get decaf because I want the flavor of coffee right now, but I don't want the buzz. Nobody does that. Usually it's people that are just like, I want coffee, but I also don't want my heart to explode.
I guess I'm weird. There have definitely been times where I'm like, I'm craving coffee, but it's not just like straight like black coffee. It's like when there's a lot of cream and sugar added to it, it's like, oh yeah.
And even then, I'm just like, nah, it's dirty bean water.
I must also be weird then, because with tea, I will actually go for the decaffeinated tea because I want to drink it and be like, yeah, this also counts for me drinking water because there's no caffeine in it.
Yeah, and you don't have to pee it out immediately. Like, I get plenty of water. I drank 4 cups of tea this morning. It's like, yeah, but you peed out 3 of them, like, within an hour.
Shh, no one has to know that. I think a lot of people would also find the way I drink tea very weird because, like, for me, like, my personal favorite tea is green tea. Like, I love that. But I also do not add sugar or honey or milk or anything. I just have it straight.
My favorite tea was the tea that my Japanese grandfather served at his izakaya in Okinawa, and he would like the menu, and I don't remember the waitress's name. I always just called her Onesan, which just means like older sister.
No.
And like according to him and my stepmom, it was just ocha, which just literally means tea. But it was so distinctive. It had like a really like almost burnt roasted soybean flavor. Like, it was really hard to describe, and it did not taste like green tea. It did not taste like, like any kind of like leaf tea, but it tasted like roasted soybeans. And it was so freaking good. And that is my favorite tea, and I have never been able to find anything that tastes remotely like it.
I'm so curious, like, because then that makes me wonder if maybe it was the way they prepared it.
I have no idea. Like, if anybody ever watches this and like lives in Okinawa still or whatever in Japan, what is that tea called? It is kind of amber brown-ish color, like yeah, and everyone just called it ocha, and I was just like, this is a specific type of tea. What type of tea is it? It's tea. Shut up.
Tea is tea. No, there are different kinds of tea. Which tea is this? It's tea.
Damn it. But yeah. But otherwise, like, I'm not like a huge tea drinker, but when I do drink my tea, I really do like green tea without fucking sugar in it. Which to me is weird. Like, if I go to a gas station or something and I want like a green tea, like a bottled green tea, iced tea, whatever, it always, without fail, has some sort of sweetener in it and like some sort of like artificial lime or something in it to like zhuzh it up, and I'm just like,
And just ruins the flavor.
and it's just like, this is, you could just not call this tea anymore and just call this like citrified sugar water, and that's what this would be with just green dye.
There's some tea, like iced tea that I like whether it's like cold tea, I guess I should say.
Mm.
But I feel like I'm extra picky about cold tea than I am with hot tea.
I, I honestly don't know if I have like a medical condition that makes me sweat more than other people, but I sweat profusely, especially for a fat guy. And I cannot stand hot beverages. If I can, I will take all of my beverages cold.
That's fair. There's a, or yeah, that, I mean, that would make sense, especially like for me. I normally don't go for hot drinks, but there are certain times, like if it's really cold or if I'm sick, where I'm like, please give me something nice and warm for my throat.
Yes. Same.
But I would generally agree, for the most part, I lean a lot more towards cold drinks. Like, I think the main thing that, honestly, the main reason why I've been drinking more coffee lately is I've been putting this, I don't know what you would call it. It's like a fiber thing. Like, it's supposed to be like you add it to your drink, it dissolves, and it will help, like, add more fiber to your diet kind of thing. And the one I'm taking, it says it's really just barley. And I was having trouble finding good ways to take it. And with coffee, it was like, oh, well, it dissolves very easily because it's hot. And I really don't taste any difference. So I've been putting that in my coffee, and that's the main reason why I've been drinking more coffee than usual. But
oh boy,
yeah,
extra fiber in coffee.
I know,
real good.
It actually, it does not affect me as much as I thought it would.
God.
But there have been times where I'm like, what's that? I need to go to the bathroom. I haven't done this in so long. Coffee.
Have you seen this whole thing of Starbucks serving a olive oil iced coffee?
Oh shoot, I am so sorry. It's that sound. I'm so sorry. I have not been looking at chat. I'm so sorry. And yes, I am an asexual Pokemon streamer. Nick isn't, but
I am a flagrant homosexual.
But yeah, they're like, how's your day today? So do I exist? Who knows? Like, I'm so sorry. I'm a horrible streamer.
Can't believe you.
Anyway, sorry, you were saying.
I was talking about the olive oil iced coffee drink from Starbucks. And people are like, why does this make me shit my brains out? It's like, I don't know, you took a laxative with your laxative. Maybe that could be the root cause.
Also, thank you so much for the follow. It's that sound. I really appreciate it, and I'm so sorry that you're having a bad first impression of me.
Can't believe you ignore your followers.
I do. Oh. What? My brain... I saw one of those, like, items on the ground, and for some reason I was hitting B, and I'm like, why am I just hopping? Why am I not picking up the item? Like, brain just randomly swapped the controls in my brain.
Why is the wrong button not working in this instance?
Yeah, I actually like with the barley stuff, it says it's supposed to be good for people who have insulin resistance, which I'm like, I have not been officially diagnosed, but like I'm like 99% sure I have it. And I'm like, well, that's like, I should at least try that. Because it should be an easy thing to just add to my diet without actually like going to get another prescription or anything like that.
Yeah, having to cut out basically all meats. Like, I haven't done specific research into like chicken specifically, but it was just easier for me to just be like, okay, pescatarian. Like that's uh, easy enough to tell people, yeah, I'm pescatarian, rather than telling
Mm.
them I don't eat any meat except for chicken and fish. Just seem less cumbersome, you know.
Mm-hmm. Oh, thank you for the follow, Addy Batty. I think I know red meat, like beef, is one of the more unhealthier meats, but I still love it.
Oh man, I miss it. Uh, Jess the other day, we went to a place that serves onigiri rice balls and wraps and shit and boba tea. And she bought a couple of rice balls and gave me one with steak in it. And I bit into it, and I just swallowed it because I am a animal when it comes to food. I'm just like, get inside me.
Get in my belly.
But it had been so long since I had any like red meat. Like the instant that I swallowed it, my body was just like, oh, you fucker, we're gonna
What
make
have you
you pay
done?
for this.
That's so interesting because, as far as you know, you do not have any like weird medical condition where like meat makes you sick or anything. But your body got so used to not eating that I was like, what? What is this? Me checking Pokemon Home at every possible moment for SV transfer. It's
Right.
still not. It still isn't real. Oh,
Same.
that might be like the one reason I actually try to get into Pokemon Sword and Shield, at least just to play through the story, because I'm assuming that those would be the two main connected games.
So far, yeah, but to be honest, the Sword and Shield story was so bad. Like even by Pokemon standards, it was bad.
Yeah, I really like the idea of what they did with the Pokemon gyms. Like I thought that was really smart and makes a lot of sense. That like people would be really into watching like Pokemon fights like as a sport.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, nothing else really caught my attention.
I liked the Galar region, like as a region, as a backdrop to your adventure. I really liked the gameplay of Sword and Shield. The story was just so bad. It made no goddamn sense. It was just very unfulfilling.
I remember when I was first playing through Scarlet, I was expecting myself to not care for the story. Like I was fully expecting it. I was like, this kind of feels like the same as a lot of other recent Pokemon games. I don't think I'm going to really care for the story, but the gameplay looks like a lot of fun. And then I ended up just falling in love with the story.
The story in Sword and Shield or Scarlet and Violet, very, very, very good.
Because normally I would be like as someone who loves stories, I would say Pokemon's the one game where I don't super care about the story.
No.
But Scarlet and Violet actually did a good job, and I was like, holy shit, this is awesome.
Like, my favorite Pokemon games are the ones that have like a good, robust story. So like, my top 3 favorite Pokemon games are Crystal, Black and White, and Scarlet and Violet. And the reason for that is because they have fucking stories. Even though the story in Crystal was not good by today's standards, it had one. And it was the only one to have like an actual story until Gen 5. Like Gen 4, no real discernible story there other than Cyrus just wanted to undo the universe. Gen 3, we want to expand the land or the sea. Alright, go for it, I guess.
Oh, one game I remember I love, and I still love gameplay-wise, but the story was just downright embarrassing, was X and Y. like I love the way the game looks, I love the way the game feels, but the story, at least with Lysander, is like, what the fuck are you doing, buddy?
Yeah, like, and I thought maybe they were. There is a certain German mustached man from history that
Who shall not be named.
that I thought that was the direction they were going in with him, because it was France and he was the big bad villain, and he was like, I'm obsessed with beauty of all things, and it's just like, oh, are you? Really? You don't say. Are you obsessed with beautiful people? A certain type of beautiful people?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, like, that would have been dark, but that could have been interesting if they went in that direction, but no. Actually, I don't even, so, in Pokemon Y, which is the one that I played, with Yveltal, his thing is like, I want to destroy the world, and I think the idea was like to make it new again. But then Xerneas is supposed to be all about life, so I forget, what was his plan with that in Pokemon X?
He basically just needed them to power the weapon.
Oh, okay.
It didn't really matter which one it was. It just had to be basically a legendary.
Because Yveltal, it actually made sense, because Yveltal is basically like death, destruction, like it makes sense, like, okay, so this is the kind of Pokemon you would use
For death
to,
and
like,
destruction.
Yeah, exactly. But then Xerneas is the opposite, so it's like, which, I mean, I guess they could have still made sense, like, maybe if both legendaries showed up, but you could only catch one.
Yeah.
Like, Yveltal to destroy, but then Xerneas to rebuild. But,
And
yeah.
then they never really, like, touched on, like, Zygarde's, like, actual, like, purpose in the whole situation was. It was just like, oh, by the way, Zygarde is also a thing. And you're just like,
And
yeah,
the way
okay.
everyone was hoping Pokemon Z or Z for us Canadians would be a thing, and it never was.
Yep. And then in Sword and Shield, we got, not Sword and Shield, what was it? Not X and Y, it was Sun and Moon. We got the other forms of Zygarde for just no reason. They had no purpose, rhyme, or reason. It was just like, hey, Zygarde has other forms. It's like, okay, cool. What's the backstory for those? Shut up, other forms.
So what was your reasoning for this Pokemon? Oh, look cool.
Yeah, I don't know. We needed a third to go with the other two. All right.
It would have been really cool if Zygarde was like Rayquaza, where it was like the kind of the balancer between the two.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was like no story from what I remember.
No, not for Zygarde.
Which is a shame, because I thought Zygarde looked really fucking cool.
I guess the only nitpick that I have with Scarlet and Violet, though, is that other than the Treasures of Ruin, which I guess are legendary, and just that fact that they're old and powerful, Miraidon and Koraidon, not legendary. They're just Paradox Pokemon forms of Cyclizar. Like, there's no reason why they should be legendaries.
Like, I think we're used to, like, automatic, like, well, they're legendary status because they're on the cover, and, like, they're the ones you fight at the very end of the story kind of thing. But, yeah, they really aren't legendary. It's just a past and future version of Cyclodon. Or Cyclizar, sorry.
And it's like, not only that, there are multiple of them. Like, that was the thing, is you got to the end and it was just like, oh, there's another one.
And another one. And another. That would actually be a very interesting DLC if, like, you had the ability to actually, like, go back in time or go forward in time. But I don't know how they would implement that.
To me,
I do very much like Area Zero, so it's not like I need that. So
yeah, to me it would be just like what they did in Black and White. They had an entire town specific to each game. White had White Forest, and Black had Black City. and it was basically like a past and present or past and future version of town.
Oh, interesting. Okay, yeah, that settles it. At some point, I'm gonna play through probably Black because that's the one I bought when I was younger, and just play through it on stream. Because I keep hearing so much about the story, and I'm like, I need to sit down and just play through it because I've never done that. Like, there have been times I tried, but then I think the farthest was I got to the first gym, and I just kind of stopped after that. I don't know, I think I just wasn't impressed with the monkeys.
Oh, God.
And I also wasn't, I kind of like the idea of, like, oh, well, in the first gym, the typing switches depending on which starter you grabbed or whatever. Like, I thought that was interesting, but then, I don't know, it kind of felt like baby's first gym.
It basically is.
And I was like, I think mentally I was like, if the other gyms are going to be like this, then this isn't going to be any fun.
But Black and White, gameplay-wise, I thought was very good. I think you'll enjoy it. You just kind of got to get through the hand-holdiness of the first, 2 gens.
If I can... I felt like I had to do that with Scarlet and Violet before I got to the good part, so if I can handle that. I can deal with that.
Yeah. And I did like Black and White a lot. Like, there wasn't a whole lot about Black and White that I disliked. But that was still in the Generation 2 when, VGC was still kind of in its infancy. VGC really got its kickoff in Gen 4. And Gen 5, it was still, you could still only pass down 3 random IVs from parents. So getting a Pokemon with, 5 perfect IVs was, near impossible.
Oh, hello, Frigid Chaos. Thank you for following me. I really hope you're real. Sorry, I just suddenly got a little paranoid. Is it a bot? But then you commented in chat, and I'm like, oh, thank you, they're real. I've been lurking for an hour, so I guess I might as well. Well, thank you, I really appreciate that.
It's like a post-apocalyptic future in here. Are you human?
Are you real?
How do we know you're not one of them robots?
Damn, I am having no luck finding any shinies today.
Neither am I. We are just not doing super hot tonight. Although it was like this last weekend too. We got nothing last Saturday.
I think I got...
Oh,
I found one shiny Tauros, but it wasn't the fire type that you were looking for.
Mm-hmm.
Nope, not real. Damn.
Shit.
Gosh darn it, the bots got me again. Been along for the ride. Love you and your company. Oh, thank you.
Aw.
Nick, you got complimented.
Am I the company?
You are the company. Yeah, we're nerds who play games and we'll have random, weird, deep conversations or just some weird bullshit conversations that make no sense.
Yeah.
That's how me and my friends are, and I like it.
we get irritated with the subjectivity of art.
But then we'll also delve into the complexities of, tea. Oh, Jess. Nick sure is something.
I'm great.
Y'all are just my kind of people. That's awesome. I am always down to meet more people like us. Because I feel really comfy with my friends, so more people like us means I have more people I'm comfy with, and it works well.
Like us.
Anybody, I swear I'm also real. Thank you for telling me. Like I wasn't instantly like, oh, bots. I was just like, 3 followers in one day? The heck?
Meanwhile, on my YouTube stream, I have 1 subscriber as of a month ago, and the last subscriber before that was Mop.
Yeah, okay, everyone
Shit.
go check out Nick's stream. Just look up Aquila on YouTube
Don't you have it
and
linked?
check out his streams. He streams shiny hunting, he also does VGC,
Pokemon
and he's a
battles.
really general. I think he's a pretty cool guy. So Aquila is like I also have it on my stream layout. It's AKWILA.
Dat me.
That him.
Dat me.
I've been playing, for anyone curious, I've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft, so if you want more Pokemon stuff, definitely go follow him. I will play more Pokemon. It's not solely just World of Warcraft, it's just something else I've been kind of pulled into.
But yeah, you've also been doing hardcore World of Warcraft,
Yeah, hardcore, WoW.
which you probably would be level 60 by now had you not probably died like 80 times since then.
Shh, they don't need to know that.
So what was the whole conundrum with pants?
Oh, holy shit. Okay. So this is all on Alliance side. And I don't know the name of the quest, but there was it was one of those wanted posters. And it was in the dwarf starting area. And so it was a big Yeti. And it dropped 3 things. Two-handed mallet, pants, and then I think a belt or something like that. And Sean and Seth were looking at the rewards and they were like, oh, holy shit, this is something for all of us. And they were looking at the stats on the two-handed mallet and it's like, oh, that's really good for you because it had +2 spirit. And so this is starting area again, so at that time, very good. I did not hear any of that. My brain just did not comprehend because I was zoning out. Because I just hear them talking about stuff and I'm like, I don't know exactly what that's relating to. I'm just going to go back to picking herbs. And so we go do the thing. And then, of course, there's a lot of other players there. We get it. Find out, oh,
Thanks
I was
for
the only one who
subscribe.
didn't have the... Huh? Oh!
See? Chaos. Subscribed. Thank you.
Yeah. So we killed it, but then I was like, oh, I don't have the quest. Sorry. They were like, oh. So they had to share it, and then we had to wait again, trying to, snipe it, because everyone else was trying to snipe it as well. There was no line or anything. We finally get it. Go to hand it in. I'm looking at the two-handed mallet, and I'm like, well, I don't want that. Because they keep saying that I should be going, with a shield. And I can't do that with a two-handed mallet. So I go for the pants because those have better stats and, I can do the shield. So, I grabbed that. And then and then there was that clip where I was putting on an armor kit.
On your pants.
Yeah, and they were like, sorry, I'm just putting armor on my new pants. And Shaw and Seth were both just like, what?
Pants?
They literally slow turned to look at me in game, and they're like, what the fuck? And I was like, but, did you not get the mallet? And I'm just silent because I'm like, oh fuck, I should have been listening. And so yeah, they were giving me shit for it.
God, Mom.
They're Seth was being nice. He was like, it's okay, it doesn't really matter. But Shaw was like, I can't believe we did all that just for you to get the wrong item.
Oh, Mip.
Yeah, I was so excited for the pats because they also had good stats, but no, I got the wrong thing. And they're like, we worked so hard to get you that mallet, and you didn't even get the damn mallet. And in my brain, I'm like, you never told me.
To get
So
the damn
y'all
mallet.
should have confirmed with me that this is what I got. But yeah, so now every time we hand in a quest that has multiple rewards, they're like, Mop, get this. Like, okay.
Don't get the pants.
No pants. No, not allowed.
Alright, let's go for Ursaring and see if we can end our suffering.
That'll at least be a really easy to spot. So,
Yep,
where do you want to fly to?
I am up in the northeast with that kind of big-ish lake. Like right on the border of where Kalos would be.
Huh?
So in the northeast, there's a lake.
So, okay.
I'm at the flight point at that lake.
So not Casaroya.
Your other
The one
east.
that's like North Province?
Yeah, your other east.
This is East.
Mop, I swear to God.
Okay, so you're not saying Casaroya Lake. You're saying North Province 1.
Yeah,
Okay, so I'm here. Okay.
there you are. Okay.
I just couldn't see you anywhere on my map. I was like, Nick, where are you?
Wait, where'd you go?
Oh, I'm here.
There you
I
are.
see you.
Alright, same sandwich. Pickled tofu and your choice of herb that's not sweet or sour.
You also confused me when you said where Kalos would be, and I'm like, Nick, I'm very bad at geography. That means nothing to me.
Where else would Kalos be?
Over here, just points in a random direction.
Mom, no!
What if they made a game that was Pokemon, but also like WoW, where you could go to all these different cities, like all the different regions? I know it'll never happen, but I could dream.
Actually, AJ, for my birthday, she asked me kind of like randomly out of the blue one day, like, what are your favorite like top 3 zones in World of Warcraft? And I was like, well, Nagrand, Tirisfal Glades, and I don't remember what else I said.
So wait, pickle, tofu, and bitter work?
Yeah, that works.
Okay.
I will do salty. And so out of nowhere, she asked me those questions, and I gave her that information. And then on my birthday, she gave me a framed, like, piece of artwork of Undercity. And actually, I will go grab that here in a second after we're done with our sandwich and show it off, because it's really good.
And you love you love the undead area.
I love them. Everything about Undercity is amazing and wonderful.
Although apparently everyone is terrified of Undercity and Hardcore because of those elevators.
Yes. I would be too. If I played Hardcore, I'd be like, nah, fuck Undercity. We're just not going.
It's like, it's Undercity and Thunderbluff where people are like, no, I ain't touching that elevator. Ogrimmar, yes. Thunderbluff and Undercity, hell no.
No.
But yeah, that sounds like an absolutely lovely present. Wow.
Come on, eat the damn sandwich.
I'm eating it.
I know it's taking me forever to get through the animation, though. Okay. No, I want to leave the fucking picnic. I want to get out of here. I don't want to be here anymore. Okay. I know,
Get me
my
outta here.
sandwich is ticking, but I'm going to go grab that frame.
Okay. And Teddy Ursa or Ursaring? gonna go with either. Okay.
Alright. I'm hoping this picks up on the Undercity. And it's just the canals of Undercity. And I really like that. The
So then
artwork is really, really good too.
Oh, that is really cool. Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I want to know where AJ got that from. Is that like
I'm
actual like concept art, or did she commission an artist for that?
I'm not 100% sure. But I really
that is
enjoy
awesome.
it. Actually, I want to put this over here so it's out of the way. My husband has a talent for destruction. So I want to make sure it's not within, like, underfoot. Alright. So, we're looking for a green bear. I guess we could also find an Indeedee. That wouldn't be terrible.
Yeah, I'm running past Indeedees. So they're normal psychic?
Yep.
Okay.
Very annoying because anytime you see a psychic type or like a trick room setter, like one of your first instincts is to like shadow ball it or like shadow claw it, and it's just like you can't do that with Indeedee. It's immune.
Like you would need something that would go through that immunity.
Yeah,
if you really wanted to do that.
You need a dark attacker to take care of it. Not seeing any Ursa rings though, so I'm gonna go a little bit over here.
I just remembered still have that Soul Silver Nuzlocke I started forever ago and I never technically finished. I got all 8 gym badges and then I was like preparing for the Elite Four and then I just never did it.
Wow. Got through a whole Nuzlocke, edged your way all the way to the end, and you just never...
I know, I need to figure out when would be a good time to stream that. Because I would like to do another Nuzlocke, but I also feel like I should at least finish that before I go on.
I always find it weird, like, especially with this, like, because, like, one of the biggest rules of Nuzlocke is, like, you have to catch the first Pokemon in the area or on the route that you're on. But, like, a game like this, you kind of, like, seamlessly, like, go between the areas and the routes.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you determine, like, what you're going to catch and when?
I know Alpha Red, I don't know if you watch him at all, but he did a Nuzlocke of this game, and what he did for that was he put all the Pokemon in that area on a wheel. And, like, so it was still randomized on what he could get, but he had to go for that, like, only that Pokemon to catch. And I think it was the same rule where, like, if you failed to catch it, you know, and it fainted or whatever, he couldn't go for another one.
Okay. And I'm sure the Shiny Clause is still there. Like, you run into a Shiny, you're free to catch it. You just can't use it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, that would be another thing to do, like, whenever Pokemon Home happens, like, because I would like to get Pokemon's Violet whenever I have the money and, like, use it for either Nuzlocks or even checking out some of the speedruns, because they actually look legitimately interesting. And, like one of the speedruns I saw, it's like they only go through one of the storylines, so they went through the Titan one. Like with Arven, and apparently the best Pokemon for that is Meowscarda.
Huh. Well, I'd imagine. You've got a water type, a rock type, and yeah. So I can see that.
Are you sure this is where Ursaring spawn? I haven't seen any.
That's where the Pokedex says they spawn. But yeah, and actually, Chaos, I have never actually done a Nuzlocke, and I'd be interested in doing one, but I don't know that I would want to do it in Scarlet or Violet. just because of how nebulously weird it can get. I would much rather do a Nuzlocke in like one of the older games where the routes are very well defined and very clear. Like maybe Gen 5, or maybe Gen 6.
Gen 6 definitely seems like a fun game to Nuzlocke.
It would be, especially since then you have fairy types and you don't have to like remember type charts and stuff like that. Like, oh man, you're using a Hydreigon? I'm just gonna send out my Gardevoir, which actually does nothing because it's not fairy type here.
You're like, damn it.
We could do that too, Mop. We could do a Nuzlocke Soul Link.
I have heard of that. I don't know what the exact rules are, but that would be really cool to try.
Yeah, we could do that. But I've, like I said, never done a Nuzlocke, so like I know obviously what they are. Oh, well. Oh, I thought you were shiny.
Oh, did you think you ran into a shiny?
Yeah, I thought a shiny Pyroar, actually.
Oh. I'm gonna look where you are, because I think I'm just in a weird area.
I'm still not even finding them over here.
Okay, the minimap's not showing where you are at all. Okay, cool.
What I wish I had a capture card for my 3DS, because I would absolutely Nuzlocke like Virtual Console Pokemon games like Gen 1 or 2. I would do that in a heartbeat. But
the only problem that I know of, like every single person I know who has a capture card with a 3DS has had to send it in to some guy.
Yeah. And I'm not super comfortable with that.
Same. Like it's not that I don't trust the guy, but it's also like I don't know. I wish it was as simple as it is with consoles where you can just buy it instead of having to send someone out to go and install it onto your 3DS for you.
Right. I just wish that Nintendo, it didn't take Nintendo, when did the Switch come out? Like 2018, 2017, somewhere in there? I just wish it didn't take them that long to realize, like, oh, the internet and streaming are things. We should make that accessible to our players.
Mm-hmm.
Meanwhile, the entire community is just, like, butchering their 3DSs and to be able to stream. And Nintendo is just like, don't do that. You'll void your warranty. And everyone's like, but I must.
Like, well, maybe if you let us, like, really basically promote your game by playing it for other people to watch and enjoy. Okay, Teddy Ursa is on the southeast, more east. And then Ursaring. Yeah, it says Ursaring is around here.
It says we're in the right places, but it's definitely not here. Is it a nighttime spawn only? Because I'd be pissed.
I don't know.
I bet it is. I bet we're dumb and we didn't look at it that way.
I know Teddy Ursa, it does not matter on time of day, but Ursaring might be different.
Yeah, I know you could get the ROMs and do it just, on your computer, but I would rather have the actual hardware keep everything legit. Nintendo's always been very Disney-like in their, zealotry to protect their intellectual property, and I want absolutely nothing to do with pissing them off.
Although if we were to do a Soul Link, we would have to do it through a ROM.
Yeah, it doesn't say if they're night or day only.
Okay, I'm gonna try flying to an area where Teddy Ursa spawns. And see if that will change at all. It's weird because a Pokédex makes it seem like Ursaring should definitely be spawning out here, and yet it's not.
Yeah. I'm gonna go check Tag Tree Thicket, even though I know it's gonna be laggy as shit.
I think it's near Artisan.
Yeah, about that area. And it says for Teddy Ursa that it's near trees, so I wonder if it's also in trees.
It could be.
Like fucking Applin or Pineco. God damn, trying to find those bastards to finish my Pokedex drove me insane. Oh god, the lag.
Do I really have to keep looking up Ursaring every fucking time?
Yep. And you can't even search the Pokedex. You can just put it in different order.
I should at least memorize the numbers so that I can quickly scroll to that section.
It's coming up.
215.
There you go.
Okay. So am I... Okay, so this is the area. Okay. Actually, I'm gonna go on the other side. I don't know. I know there was a place that in my story, like when I was going through the story, where I was leveling up, where I kept running into Teddy Ursas. But I don't freaking remember where that was.
I don't remember either.
Oh, why am I lagging? Oh, hi. Okay, Teddy Ursas do spawn here. Okay.
Oh, there's one. I have yet to see a bear at all.
Why is my game so laggy in this area? It's a normal area.
Maybe it's because I'm in Tag Tree and we're like sharing the same space. I don't know.
It didn't freak. I thought it would freak out with me being in Area 0. I didn't notice any lag. Did you?
No. I'm gonna get out of here and see if that improves the lag. Did that help?
A little.
Yeah.
It should be fine though. Like, just search wherever. Like, if you want to search there, keep searching. Because I got away from the city, and that seemed to have helped me. Never memorize anything. Pokemon is a trap. This is unfortunately true.
Really is. God. So, I just recently went on Adderall. So, I'm on the cool kid medications. And, I went to my doctor for the follow-up, just, tell her, like, how it's been going, what it's been doing to my brain, that sort of thing. And I mentioned to her that it does kind of make me tired, like, about 30 minutes after I take it, I feel like I want to take a nap. And she's like, well, that's super unusual, but we can certainly try something else if you want to try something else. And I was like, yeah, let's try something else. So she gave me this other med, and she was like, on my end, it looks like your insurance will cover it, but I know for a fact that most insurances do not cover it. Do you want me to send it anyway? And I was like, yeah, just send it to my pharmacy. Turns out my pharmacy would not cover it, or my insurance would not cover it, and for a 2-week supply, they wanted $200, and I was like, haha, I'll do actual meth, thank you.
Was it 5 ants?
Yes.
Oh, that's the pills I'm on. I'm surprised your insurance wouldn't cover that.
Well, I mean, Canada.
Yeah, okay.
So they wouldn't cover it, and so I tried calling her back. This is like at the very end of the day. I tried calling her back and being like, hey, my insurance did not take it. Can you send over something else? And we had actually discussed it in the meeting. Oh no, Canadian insurance isn't bad. They don't have insurance. They just have socialized healthcare like a normal fucking country. So getting medications there is not a pain in the ass or a matter of cost. Usually, it's like, oh, I need a medication. How much does it cost? What do you mean cost?
Well, there are still definitely some medications. Like my mom, the drug that my mom's on for her insulin resistance is not covered by insurance.
Mm.
So she has to pay for that every time she needs to get a new needle. But yeah, I don't know. It's just it's weird how it's like some of this is like, oh yes, absolutely, we'll cover it. Other times it's like, no.
Yeah. But anyway, so I called her office to try and get another prescription sent. And I could not for the life of me remember what we had talked about in our meeting, because we had talked about, like, hey, if they don't cover it, then let's try this drug and send that instead. So we have a backup plan. And I'm talking to the front desk lady, and the front desk lady is like, do you remember what that other medication was? And I was like, girl, I can name you all 1008 Pokemon and almost every spell in the D&D like spell compendium. I could not tell you what drug we talked about 30 minutes ago. Absolutely not happening.
Oh, Frigid Chaos says, every now and then in this game, after a long period of time, you should go back to the school town to unload all the mons. That helps with lag.
I actually avoid Mesa Goza just because, I don't know, I don't like that city. But I go to Area Zero fairly often. That should unload things, because that's also a different instance, or it should be a different instance.
No, the keyword should.
Should.
I think Area Zero's designed that way, which is why I think with multiplayer, why you can't usually see the other person, it's because it's steamed outside of the map.
Maybe. I think it's still bugged, though. I think the game is like, oh, you guys are in different instances of the same instance.
It's like, please, can't you do the WoW thing where, like, we just group up and now we're on the same layer together?
Please. Game. I am terrified of the day that Nintendo decides we're going to do an MMO. It's inevitable. It will come. And it will be the worst thing on the goddamn planet.
It'll be the worst thing, and you just know it's going to suck up everyone's money.
That's true. Chaos brings up a good point, is that even though you go to Mesa Goza, it does unload the Pokemon, but it also loads the Pokemon because you're loading everything in Area Zero. Whereas Mesa Goza, it just unloads everything. It doesn't load any Pokemon.
Ah, that's smart. Okay.
Oh, I found a Ursa ring with 4 Teddy Ursa around it. First one I've seen.
But no shiny.
No shiny.
I've been finding Teddy Ursas on a fairly regular basis here. I just haven't run into any shinies.
We are just 0-0 for shinies tonight.
You know what I feel like happened? I feel like all of my luck for finding shiny Pokemon got transferred to WoW instead into finding all the bags on loot.
Maybe?
Like, you know how those are rare? It's like I keep finding those instead, and I'm like, oh no, did this use up all of my shiny Pokemon luck?
Watch you guys play through a character, get pretty far, and then like the Staff of Jordan drops and you're just like immediately murdered.
Do either of you have the shiny charm? We both have the shiny charm.
We sure do.
And we normally get at least a couple shinies. Our luck is just really bad today.
Yeah, and last week we did what? We did like maybe like 4 or 5 hunts, and you're the only one that came out with a shiny?
Yeah.
And like the week before that was we found 5 Fluttermanes in 1 sandwich week.
Yeah, it's
feast or famine.
Yeah. I have found one mon with a shiny charm naturally in this game. I feel that. There were... I think I found 2 since I got the shiny charm, and they were never the ones I was looking for. I just noticed them. It's like, oh hey, you're shiny. Okay.
I can't tell you how many shinies I've found without the assistance of a sandwich. Before I got the shiny charm, I think I found 2 shinies at full odds, and then since the shiny charm, after we're done with the sandwich, I've got like maybe 6 or 7 full boxes of shinies.
Yeah, Nick was actually complaining to me the other day that he has too many shinies. I've never heard of anyone have that kind of complaint.
I have too many. I need to get rid of them.
Well, you kept saying you were going to do a giveaway once you get more subscribers, so maybe now that there's more people watching, it's like, now's the time.
Maybe. Just give away all of my superfluous shinies, just all of them, give them all to Chaos. Like, here you go. Take them all.
I'm still mad that I found, like, what, 5 or 6 shiny combi, but they were all male. And it's like, the one time I want to find shinies. I'm getting it, but not in the way that I want it.
No girls.
No girls.
No girls. And, oh god, that was one thing too. So I spent, I don't know, maybe like 6 or 7 sandwiches trying to look for any shiny fire type in the Alfrenata caves, which basically amounts to just Salandit. And I probably went through like easily 6, 7, 8 sandwiches. Not a single shiny in all of those sandwiches.
Damn. I mean, at least when it's like just you can reset it and get your ingredients back, but still.
Yeah, like, I was just like, damn, fuck me.
The game's like, no, you have too many shinies, you're good.
Yeah.
Frigid Chaos, like, I have too many shinies in Arceus and Sword. Oh my gosh, this is the second time I've ever heard of someone complaining about too many shinies.
Tumor Deer. Tumor Deer is Stantler.
Stantler? Yeah. The first shiny I found on here, which I think was the first shiny I ever remember, like, running into without purposely trying to look for it, was a shiny male Snorunt.
Oh.
It was just chilling out, and I was like, oh, yes.
But male.
But male. I did eventually evolve it into a Glalie? Is that what it's called?
Yep.
And it's not terrible, but yeah, it would have been really nice to have a shiny.
Yeah, honestly, Glalie, not a bad shiny at all, but it's just not as useful as Frostlass.
I found my first shiny last year in Aura, stupid green Golbat. Dude, evolved it into a Crobat. Fucking amazing.
That's actually one of my favorite shinies.
I love Crobat, but they keep doing him dirty with the 3D models and giving him this ugly, like, look on his face.
They do, and I'm so sad about it.
Like, he literally evolves with high friendship. Why would you make him look pissed off? Like, just, like, I'm not saying you have to make it look super cute, but you don't have to do him dirty like that either. It's actually funny, I used to hate Zubat, but then when I started legitimately using it on my team, I was like, wait, Zubat can be really fucking strong, what?
You got confusion, you've got flinching, you've got good recovery with Leech Life, and yeah.
And then it also gets like Bite and then later on Crunch, I think maybe just after it evolves into Golbat, but still, like, much better stats than I originally expected.
Zubat is solid. Well, Crobat is solid, but yeah, like Gen 1, maybe skip it.
But Gen 2, definitely go for the Crobat if you can.
Definitely.
I think that's actually one of my main Pokemon on my Nuzlocke. It's a Crobat. I hope it's still on my team. I actually don't remember if it fainted or not. I hope it didn't.
Mop out here just murdering bats.
I like the green shinies because usually it's an obvious shiny. Yeah.
Fair. No, a lot of people hate the green shinies just because they think it's ugly. And really, I like my green shinies. There are a handful that I do not like. Cantonian Tauros and Hitmonlee, for one. Hate them. But like, Espeon? Beautiful shiny. Stantler? Guess he's an okay shiny. Ursaring? Beautiful shiny. Ah.
What does shiny Galarian, or not Galarian, sorry, Hisuian Ursaring look like?
You mean the Ursaluna?
Oh, Ursaluna, yeah. My bad.
Instead of brown, it's like orangish brown. Yeah, it's not a huge swing. Not a huge difference. But when Ursaluna does come to Scarlet and Violet, it's going to be kind of OP. Like, its stats are kind of dumb. And as far as like a bulky physical attacker, it's probably going to be one of the best non-legendary bulky physical attackers.
I just realized they actually made a really good game. Like, the connection between Legends Arceus and Scarlet and Violet is really smart because they can actually justify like why Pokemon from the past are coming in.
I'm kind of hoping. I saw a YouTube video on this a while back. So we got Legends Arceus, which takes place in the past, Scarlet and Violet, which presumably takes place in the present. If we do get another Legends game, it would make sense for it to be in the future.
Ooh, that would be very interesting.
I just hope they don't do it the same way they did Futurism in this game, where it's just everything is computerized and has an LCD screen for eyeballs and metallic and iron.
Everyone just starts with the name Iron.
Like, oh boy, great. Yeah. Real feeling it. Yeah, you betcha.
It annoys me because I keep thinking, oh, it's a steel type then. No.
No. It's just metallic.
What do you guys think of the Treasure of Ruin Mons? I think the design-wise, they look really cool.
Design-wise, I like them all except for Ting Lu. I think Ting Lu just looks dumb.
Oh, the sword one?
No, the bowl. The
bowl. Yeah, the bowl. Yeah, I'm not the biggest... Like, I think that's the only one where I feel like the design is weaker. But, like, I absolutely love Oh, which one's the goldfish?
Chiyu.
Chiyu is my absolute favorite.
Yes.
I think it looks very pretty. The scroll one, I think looks very interesting and cool. Like, I thought it was really smart how they incorporated the tablets into that design. Sword Cat, I kind of love and hate. I feel like the sword part could have been done better. But the rest of the design I really like. I also absolutely love the music that plays when you fight them.
Yeah. Listened to that for quite a while the other day when I was looking for a 0-speed Tinglu for BGC, which I got pretty quickly.
That's awesome.
Not first try like I did Chi-Yu with a 0 attack IV.
But it could have taken a lot longer than
Yeah.
it did, which is nice.
And I do like that Rocky and Bowl Winkle for Tinglu. I don't know. I thought the other designs for like the cursed item that they were really creative and cool looking. And I guess like having a bull as a set of antlers is different. But I don't know. Looking at Tinglu, it doesn't scream like deer or moose or cervid in any way. To me, it just springs it evokes like a therapoidal thing with a bull on its head. Like, it's not clear what it's trying to be, whereas the other ones are very clearly a snail, a fish, a cat. And they incorporated the cursed item into their designs really, really well.
And I totally get the inspiration for like the antlers being a bull, because there are definitely a lot of antlers in real life that can curve so much that it can look like a bull. But you're right in that it really doesn't translate very well in the design.
I don't know. I think they could have gone a different direction and probably been more successful.
That's interesting. I normally don't care for those kinds of legendaries design-wise, like the ones that aren't cover, because I feel like a lot of them feel a little lazy. But I think at least for the most part, the Treasures of Ruin are pretty cool.
Yeah. I liked them. I like them as a concept. I was kind of worried though when they were announced to be usable in VGC that they were going to become basically just
Zacian.
Zacian 2.0, because they essentially come with their own stat drops or stat increases, depending on how you look at it, with their abilities. But they really aren't that problematic because they also affect your own Pokemon. So there is a bit of a drawback to their...
It's like a double-edged sword in that regard.
Yeah.
And I'm actually like, I'm glad in that regard, because I think I really don't know too much about competitive Pokemon, but I think I do sometimes get worried when it's like, oh no, legendaries are allowed. What does that mean? Like, is that just going to be the meta now? Is just that? But it is nice to know that they're not stupid overpowered or anything like that.
Yeah. And competitively, my favorite Pokemon from specifically Gen 9, I want to say Dodonzo. Or Dondozo.
Oh, Donzo is so good. You had so much fun with that rain team.
It was a lot of fun. And I just like it because it's a big, giant, stupid catfish. And, I don't know. He's probably the one that I've had the most fun with thus far. But, yeah. I really have to think about it.
What is your favorite one for this gen competitively? And by that, I mean, like, in a fight. Oh, I feel like in terms of fighting, Iron Valiant quickly became my favorite. I don't play competitive. I might try it out at some point. But, like, story-wise, so, like, Nick gave me a shiny Iron Valiant in one of his giveaways. And I used it in the last part of the story, and it was so nice because it covered so much ground. Because they could learn, like, all these different, like, move types.
Night
and it was so nice. I don't think it doesn't seem like it's good competitively, but at least for me with the story, it was really nice to have.
I've only actually seen it once in VGC, and it did a lot of work. And it was actually a special attacker, too. which
I
I
think
thought
for what I've seen, my favorite Pokemon to watch in competitive is Dondozo, and then Armor Rouge.
yeah. That would probably be my number 2 answer. Is really hard toss up between Armor Rouge and Ceruledge.
Armor Rouge was a Pokemon I didn't super care for its design at the beginning, but it really grew on me.
Same.
And now I'm just like, I love you.
Yeah, I kind of thought they would be just gimmicky Pokemon, not very useful for anything. But yeah, they're good. They're solid.
Well, it's funny because you look at Armor Rouge and you don't think Fire Psychic, and yet at the same time it makes Fire Psychic work very well.
Yeah. I do wish the shinies were a bit better. I think their shinies are a little garbo.
It would have been cool if it was like inverted colors.
Oh god, that would have been so cool.
Also, my sandwich ran out.
Yeah,
a bit
mine
ago.
did too, a little while ago.
Damn, we have not found anything. What the
nothing. But I am actually getting a wee bit tired, so I think I'm gonna call it here. Disappointingly enough, with nothing to show for it, but
okay,
it is
here's
what
the thing.
it is.
We didn't get any shinies, but we made friends along the way. Specifically Chaos, Atabaty on my stream, and then also It's That Sound. Thank you again for following me.
Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I stream Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. Once in a while I'll stream on Sunday, but it's not super common. I haven't done it for a while, and I probably won't going forward unless I'm like got a wild hair up my ass.
My stream schedule is kind of weird. Like, it's so funny. When we started playing hardcore, Shaw set out the schedule, and then he just proceeded to just break it. But yeah, I've been mainly playing like Monday and Wednesday, hardcore WoW, and then I've been playing Pokemon with Nick every Saturday, and I've honestly really enjoyed it. I hope you're not tired of me, Nick.
I can't stand you.
Like, oh, I just can't wait to get rid of Mob. Fuck.
God. But anyway, thank you for watching. I will see you guys hopefully next week on Wednesday for some VGC fun. I actually already have 2 teams picked out that I built myself, so I'm hoping those actually get somewhere. But I'm really looking forward to using those 2 teams. But anyway, I am signing off. Have a good one, guys. Bye.
Bye. Yeah, I'm gonna go